Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 151 of the Debt Free Dad podcast. So it's Thanksgiving week here in the U.S., and it's time to reflect and be grateful for all that we have. Now, here on the Debt Free Dad podcast, we talk a lot about financial health and stress-free living, and many people feel if they could just make more money, that would make them happy. That would fix all of their problems. So today, we want to take some time and just tackle this question and discuss it. Does money really bring or, say, buy more happiness in your life? Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Debt Free Dad podcast, where we're helping normal, everyday people learn how to save money and kick debt so they can live a happier and stress-free life. Now here's your host, Debt Free Dad, Brad Nelson.
Hey, how is everyone doing today? You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Just search Brad Nelson, Debt Free Dad. And as always, everyone, welcome to today's show. Remember to get all the resources, show notes, and links for today's show. You can head over to balancencents.com/151. That's BALANCEDCENTS.com/151. Did I spell that right? It's like, wait, did I do that right? So I know the episodes are going to get a little, they're going to change a little bit, but officially, episode 151. Now, if you guys want to know kind of the back end of this, some of these episodes don't get recorded exactly in the same order that we release them. So, but this is officially our last episode that we are recording here for 2022. And, sometimes I'm like going through this, like, did I spell that right? Did I do that right? So, guys, Thanksgiving week is here. Now, Amber, admittedly, we always talk about this, and I joke around with you all the time because Amber's in Canada, and I think it's so strange to me for some reason, and I never can get it right because it always catches me off guard that for you guys, Thanksgiving's in October.
Yeah, middle of October. We've had it. It's done. It's gone.
So what's the story in Canada? Is it the same story that's in the U.S., like the Pilgrims and all that stuff? Or like, what do you...
It was like fall harvest. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same base. Why is it so much earlier, though? Because your holidays typically line up with the U.S. holidays.
I think the Americans just copied us and then they made their own day. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I've always wondered that. I'm like, why? I wonder why it's so early. Because for the most part, Canadian holidays and U.S. holidays line up pretty. I mean, they're pretty similar.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Canada Day is what, the 1st of July. We're the 4th of July.
1st of July. Yeah.
I mean, they're all right around the same time. So yeah, it's interesting that those are now. And again, it's on a Monday too, right?
Yeah, it's on a Monday, and then we just have a long weekend. So
now, for holiday shopping, do you guys have like your typical Black Friday then, or no?
No, we honestly didn't pick up Black Friday. We stole that from you guys. We didn't pick up Black Friday until like, I want to say about 10 years ago, where we started like, ooh, this is a thing. Let's do some Black Friday sales because we have Boxing Day.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about that. So when I was a kid and I looked at the calendar and it said Boxing Day, I literally thought it was about like the sport. It's not about the sport.
No, I don't even know why it's called Boxing Day. It's just an extra holiday the day after Christmas.
Is that what? Okay, so what do you guys celebrate on Boxing Day? Is it like going shopping or what is it?
Nothing. It's like an extra day to just relieve ourselves from Christmas.
You box up all your stuff and put it away.
Yeah, we go shopping. Like we get yeah, exactly. We get a bunch of deals and stuff like that. It's kind of like Black Friday, just not as good of a deals. Whatever didn't sell over the holidays, that's when we go buy it.
Interesting. We should look up, if you guys have a second, when we're going through some of this, look up what Boxing Day actually means. I'd be interested. Boxing Day. But today, speaking of Thanksgiving, guys, and Amber, you just had Thanksgiving. So favorite Thanksgiving food. I'll go first. My wife's stuffing is amazing. Mashed potatoes, oh man, they come in a pretty tight race, but I would go with stuffing, I think.
Oh, stuffing's my favorite.
Oh, now, it's got to be homemade stuffing, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Paul makes homemade stuffing all the time.
No stovetop type. I mean, not that I'm against stovetop stuffing, but it needs to be like the real stuff, I think.
Yeah, we make, my wife's aunt made years ago, when I first met my wife years and years ago, made this cheesy broccoli rice casserole thing. I mean, it's terrible for you. Once I got the ingredients, I'm like, it's no wonder I like it. I mean, it's got like, it's terrible for you, but
it's got like 8 sticks of butter in it.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like, put a stick of butter in it, mix it all up, put it in the pan, melt another stick of butter, put that on the top of it. And like, it's horrible for you, but it's amazing.
Well, that's why it tastes good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I love stuffing. And of course, if I don't know, Paul, I know Amber, Paul would probably appreciate this movie more than you do. Maybe you do. I don't know. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles always at Thanksgiving.
I have no idea what that is.
I knew you wouldn't know. Ask Paul when you get off this episode what
All
Planes,
right.
Trains. I guarantee you, Paul will send me a message. He'll know exactly what it is. But it's such a great Thanksgiving movie. That is like my favorite thing. Like, we have Thanksgiving at our house, and on Wednesday we'll do all the prep and stuff, and then at night hang out and watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I love it. It's such a great movie. But anyways, and this is kind of timely as we're recording this, and I know by the time this releases here in a couple of weeks, this will be long gone. But right now, the Powerball Jackpot, as of this morning, because of an error in getting the jackpot ready. It was supposed to be drawn last night, but as of this morning was $2 billion, which is the most a lottery has ever been here in the United States. And one ticket won in California. I thought that was just interesting. It kind of goes with this whole idea of, does money buy happiness? So I looked up this statistic real quick, and we did a whole episode on the lottery a couple years. It was 2 years ago now, I think.
Yeah, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah, but it says the percentage of lottery winners that go bankrupt in several years ranges from anywhere from 44% up to 70%, according to Best Life. That's crazy, 44 to 70%. And they noted that it wasn't always because of poor spending habits. A lot of it had to do with them trying to, or everyone soliciting money from them, right? And them just dishing out so much money to
just
everybody
your
else.
best friend, or
Yeah. Right.
Is it just charity, that charity?
Man, I don't know. What would you do with, like, okay, so you get half of that technically. What the heck would you do? I mean, I guess I would have some fun, right? But $1 billion, that is a lot of money. What would you guys do with that?
I mean, I can't even fathom it. I think it really goes along with this episode, though. I mean, when you really think of it, I mean, initially you're just like, oh man, it had some fun and this and that. But like, I think once the reality sets in that you pretty much could do whatever you wanted. And I think you probably see this with people who have tons of money. It's like, it's not fulfilling after a while. You know what I mean? Initially, probably the first year or two, maybe it would be amazing. You'd travel, do all sorts of things. But once the novelty of it all wore off, I think you'd kind of feel like, now what?
Yeah.
You know?
I think it would be, man, I don't know if it would be a responsibility that I would want. I mean, honestly, I think it would be more of a curse than a blessing, honestly. I mean, think about all the people that you're just going to be inundated with nonstop. I mean,
I feel like I would just have to move away. Like, just hide from everybody. I'm out. Can you win anonymously in the States? Like, can you not tell them who you are?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you can win anonymously. They might. I don't know if it's public record or not. But yeah, I think, man, that's just.
It would be fun to. There's a movie, I can't remember the name of it is, but Nicolas Cage was in it, where they won. It was a true story too. I think they won the lottery, and then they got in a big lawsuit, I think, with this person and the ex-wife. I think it's a true story. Probably not. I don't know. It's a movie, but they kind of go around and just like give it away, right? They go and just pay for people's things. I think that would be fun, just to like, they did like a Subway thing and everybody's going to the Subway and they bought a ton of tokens and they're giving everybody tokens for the Subway and just doing things like that. That would be pretty cool to be able to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's probably what I'd end up having to do. I mean, I don't think that I would need a tremendous amount of money. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd have some fun. I'd go travel. I'd try to see everything I could. And, of course, probably buy a different house and maybe some cars that don't have rust on them. So I think
those exist.
Yeah. I think I'd definitely update a few things. There's no question. But yeah, I would agree. I think the majority of it, I think I'd have a lot more fun giving it away. There's no question. So, question of today's show is, can money really buy happiness? And I think To a certain degree, it can. I was telling my wife asked, like, what episode are you guys recording tonight? And Sarah's like, yeah, it doesn't really buy happiness, but man, it sure as hell helps a lot, right? And I have to be in agreement with that in some way. I think we would all like to make a certain amount of money to be comfortable, right? And I think for everybody, every single person that's out there, comfortable is a different meaning, right? And they've even done several studies on this. In fact, I've got it in our notes here today. In Princeton University, this is the one that's referenced the most that I see, I think. But it's been recently updated by a few other studies. Princeton University in 2010 determined that $75,000 is all you need to make. And after $75,000, anything more than that, it does not increase your amount of happiness in your life. And it says, while happiness is subjective, the study authors from the Purdue University, this is a different study, attempted to answer this question by measuring emotional well-being, or one's day-to-day emotions like happiness, excitement, sadness, or anger. They also measured life satisfaction, which is interesting because that's not technically, I guess, happiness, but it's satisfaction, or an overall assessment of how one is doing. Globally, the study found that the ideal income point for an individual in this study from Purdue is $95,000 for life satisfaction, and between $60,000 to $75,000 for emotional well-being. So, stress-free living. In North America, the individual income level for life satisfaction was found to be around $105,000 per year. So, not like, I guess if you're listening to that and you make $35,000, $105,000 can seem like a long ways away, right? But not as much as I think most of us probably would think. Do those numbers kind of surprise you guys at all?
They seem a little low.
Yeah.
I would think they'd be higher.
I would think they would be too. I think people would be like, no, I want to make like $250,000 or $500,000. Yeah. I think, then I would be able to. Things. Right.
Yeah, I think it's interesting though. I guess I'd like to, it'd be interesting to hear more about the study and the life satisfaction side of things, because it's like, you think of 100, like 60 to 75 is like for emotional well-being, right? That's like where you're feeling good. But then that life satisfaction, that nagging feeling of like, I don't have enough to do what I want, or that sort of stuff. I guess I'd like to understand the differences there between the well-being and the life satisfaction side.
Yeah. Well, I think from the life satisfaction is probably more like, instead of the money providing happiness, it's what does the money that you have, what is it doing for your life, I think, is probably the better question. Like we talk about it a lot on the show. Especially right now with inflation as high as it is. Financial stress is the number one. It's the number one thing that's stressing most people out is money. Right. So even just from a life satisfaction standpoint, we know that most people who are living paycheck to paycheck are unorganized. They don't have a good plan. They got stuff kind of all over the place. They don't know what's coming in. They don't know what's going out. And that in and of itself is going to cause a lot of stress. So I think personally, like if and we talk about it a lot here, and we work with a lot of people on this, if it's amazing to me, saving money and paying off debt is the end goal. That's what a lot of people want, but it's amazing to me how much better people feel in just a short period of time. Like, we have people join Roots or take action from a workshop that we do, or listen to this podcast and start doing the stuff that we're talking about, and they'll respond and they'll send us emails and they'll say like, hey, I started doing this and it's only been a few months and I can't believe how much better I feel already. The feelings.
It's that grasp they have now on their, like, they have a path, a guidance to go and get the things done that they want to get done. And they're not chaotic anymore.
Right. Even I
think that's what makes it.
Yeah. Even
so much better.
Even with say you're facing, some pretty sizable credit card bills, but even with getting on a plan where you can actually see some hope that you can start paying these things down, the emotion is the quick win. Like that is what I see so much with a lot of people that start taking action with the Debt Freedom Success Path that we share, is like, it's like the emotional wins are so much quicker than, say, the number wins where you're saving money and paying down debt. Those come later because that comes with consistency and discipline. But if you're looking for, I want to just feel better, like I'm tired of being stressed, man, the stuff that we're talking about, you're going to feel much better in a short period of time, which I think is really, really cool. So up next, I think, is also talking a little bit about the value of having an emergency fund. When we talk about, does money buy happiness? Well, money in an emergency fund, I don't know that I would call it happiness as much as I would say peace of mind, right?
It's like security.
Yeah. I mean, just having, it's just having that buffer that if, crap hits the fan and, you need the money, like it's there. Like there is no better feeling than knowing that you got a little extra cash stashed away. I remember living, paycheck to paycheck and not having any money in a savings account. Well, I shouldn't say hardly any money to cover really any major expense. And it's just always stress, what's going to be the next thing. And that's always putting on the credit card and we can never get out of debt. Right. But having that emergency fund there for those just in cases, man, that is, again, I don't know that I would personally call that buying me happiness, but it certainly buys a ton of peace of mind. Same thing with getting out of debt, being able to get out of debt, free up your cash flow every month, and allow yourself the freedom and flexibility to make some fun purchases. Allow yourself the freedom and flexibility to be able to save a little bit more money. Just the opportunity to be able to make a different choice than always paying bills. I mean, how awesome is that? So when you talk about does money buy happiness that way, I think to a certain extent it can. And satisfaction in your life, for sure. I mean, just having control over that.
Well, I think emergency fund too, for me, I mean, emergency fund 100%, it provides peace of mind for me in the event that something happens. But when stuff happened, it provided a tremendous amount of happiness because especially when I was, living that paycheck to paycheck life and not having that money and having that feeling of anxiety and dread and putting on a credit card or taking out money to have to pay for it. I remember the first time that we used it and we had to use it. I mean, we were like happy. I mean, we're like, oh, we got to rebuild it again. That's not fun, but still to know you have the cash and to pay for it and walk away and not knowing there was a lot of that was when that happened, it was like a huge win for us, huge amount of happiness. It was like, wow, this is how it feels to not have to, go in debt. So that would be my view of it is 100% peace of mind if you don't have to use it. But when you do use it, at least for me, I wasn't happy to have to drain our emergency fund, but I was very happy to have the cash and be like, not a big deal. We have the money. We can do it and not worry about how we're going to come up with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the other part of this too is not necessarily, the money side of it, but really what you're using your money for. I mean, I know that this was a big mindset change for me. I was always, buying the next thing, whether it's a new car or, whatever, vacation clothes, stuff around the house, just crap that, you don't really need, but you thought it was just going to make you happy. And what you ended up really finding out is that a lot of those purchases are pretty meaningless, especially, and very short-lived, I should say, especially, that you think that they're going to make you happy for long term, but it turns out it really doesn't, especially those new cars, right? It's always fun to bring it home and, now post it on Facebook, Instagram, look at my ride, right? But then 2 months later, those payments need to be paid. And it's like, oh, that wasn't so much fun anymore, right? But it's
my husband's so sad. He's like going through the mall. He loves shopping. And he's like, going through the mall now and going shopping, it just doesn't mean anything anymore.
Right.
Because it just changed. His mindset changed about the stuff he was buying.
Yep.
Totally changed.
Yep. Yeah. And so
I think that's a huge, just even cars, like you said, that feeling of happiness, everything you do, especially when we accumulated a ton of stuff, right? We were terrible with money. We bought stuff all the time. And it's like the more you accumulate, when you get to that next level of accumulating this, your level of happiness doesn't necessarily increase. You just adjust to what you had, and you then need to get to the next level of happiness. And so you're never, what we found is we were just never happy.
Yeah.
There was never a moment of happiness because we were always chasing the next thing to make us happy. Like once we got it, we were, we're set. We love it. Awesome. And then 3 months, 6 months, a year goes by and suddenly it's like, I'm not happy. I want that. So then you get that and and that's what we found is just money can provide happiness. But what we found is figuring out what made us happy and then using our money for that instead of buying things to make us happy. That's where we were doing it backwards. We were buying the stuff to make us happy instead of going, this is what makes me happy. I'm going to spend money on this because we had no idea what made us happy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's Man, that'd be a good show. Like, how did we determine what made us happy, or what? I guess, like, how did we work through that? Like, how do you actually determine what truly are the things that you need and want? Like, how do you navigate through that, especially when we live in this hyper consumer world of, you got to have it all, and it's always the next thing, or marketing that makes you feel bad for what you have and what you don't have, right? It'd be interesting to do a whole podcast episode on that, just to kind of walk through how all of us kind of just, it would take a while to work through that, because it's not something that happens overnight. It's like this whole mindset shift that happens as you work your way out of debt. You realize the stuff just isn't as important as you thought it was. And I think for me, the big part of that was like being willing to part ways with a lot of that crap, and selling stuff, and then realizing like, hey, not only do I feel better, but it hasn't changed my life, right? It's like, it's really just stuff. It really doesn't really do much of anything but just sit around. And then it's like, well, get rid of it. And it actually provided more value by decluttering and getting rid of a lot of that stuff. So I want to share these. This is part of some of these studies. Princeton University did a study on this whole idea of, spending money on things that bring you happiness. And it says buying time promotes more happiness than most things. Surveys of large, diverse samples from 4 countries reveal that spending money on time-saving services is linked to greater life satisfaction. To establish, oh boy, this is gonna be funny. Causality. Oh, that's funny. To establish causality, we show that working adults report greater happiness after spending money on a time-saving purchase than on a material purchase. This research reveals a previously unexamined route from wealth to well-being, spending money to buy free time. So I think in part of this study, they referenced house cleaning, as something that people who spent more money or spent their money or their extra money on house cleaning to save time on not having to clean their house, it brought them more satisfaction. Another article, another article by Susan Perry from Min Post contributing writer. Plenty of recent research has shown that people tend to derive more happiness from spending their money on experiences such as travel and entertainment than on things such as clothing and gadgets. But are people happier during the purchase experience itself, or does the happiness derive more from anticipating or remembering the experience? One study found, for example, that people rate their vacations as being more enjoyable after they've returned home than while they are on the actual trip. Interesting. A new study published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology offers an answer. It says, yes, our experiential purchases, man, this is really challenging my vocabulary today. Experiential purchases bring us greater pleasure in terms of anticipation and remembrance than do our material purchases. But they also bring us greater in the moment enjoyment. The study found experiences provide us with a greater sense of satisfaction as well, even though we typically spend more time with the things that we buy. So interesting. And I would have to agree with a lot of this, that this is a lot of what we found is that, this is one reason why we camp. We don't have the best of campers. Our camper's now 8 years old, but it's a nice camper, but it's certainly not the best of the best. But it was really kind of the experience of it all, of being able to just go there and hang out as a family and make memories and all of those things. But, going on vacations, man, just having freaking time has been really nice too. A lot of people kind of just don't really think about that. Like, hey, if I don't have as many payments or debt, maybe I just don't have to work so much, and I just have free time, to explore new things, like new hobbies or things I like to try. I mean, I think that has provided more satisfaction, I guess, and happiness than anything.
I'm all about the experiences. I love gifting experiences. I love, just taking experience. I just love all of that. I'm not a stuff person, and I haven't really been a stuff person ever, I don't think.
I'm not as much of a stuff person now, but I used to love stuff. I still do to some extent, but now I just budget for it, I mean, I think when I think of like happiness, like, before, like, there's always like things you always want to try, like hobbies or stuff like that. Right. And it's like when you're in debt or, it's like, if you buy that, you better really like it. Cause it's like, if you want to get into that hobby, we don't have a lot of money to get into it, or you don't have money to like explore, and that for me, it's like, that's one of the things that I love doing. It's not stuff, but it provides me the avenues now to be able to do that sort of thing, which brings me happiness. It's like, I don't have to like not try something, you know, because like we don't have the money or because we can't,
Right.
So,
well, and it's
So,
also,
I mean, in a sense though, money does bring happiness, because the fact that we have put our money towards paying off our debt and we don't have the debt, it alleviated the stress. So in turn, now the extra money we have essentially kind of brings us happiness.
Yeah.
Really.
And
I would say being purposeful with my money brings me happiness. I guess that's what I would say.
Yeah.
So when I used to have money, and I shouldn't say that. When I used to spend my money unpurposefully, I always thought it was going to bring me happiness and never did. And now that I've just switched my thinking and I'm very purposeful about, like, even if it's a hobby and I find out I don't like it, it's like I'm very purposeful in what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and not just be like, oh, let's just spend money on it and not even care. And,
Right. Yeah. I mean, you look at the current situation, you look at inflation, and inflation's hit all of it. It's hit everybody. Right. But like, we're not like up in arms about it. I mean, and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because of the hard work that we've put in to put ourselves in a situation where if something like this happens, that's out of our control. We were able to handle it. So I look at it as like, I don't know, money, the control over our money. Yes, it provides happiness, but it's more of like empowerment, peace of mind, and just having that pride feeling of knowing that we've done all the hard work to really set ourselves up for success. Now, it doesn't make us invincible by any means. I mean, we could definitely have some bad stuff happen that would make our situation really bad quickly. There's no question about that. Right. But when you start talking about 90 to 95% of the stuff that used to stress us out, like normal life emergencies and things that would come up, we just don't deal with a lot of that stuff anymore. And so I think for me, if we're going to answer the question, I would agree, Amber. I think money does provide happiness, but I think it's all around like the control. It's having the confidence in your finances, the plan, you're making progress. Money's not controlling you. And, but I don't think money in and of itself, by itself, if you just have it, is really going to provide any of that happiness. I think it comes with the mindset as well.
Hey, if you love planners, this is for you. But do you know why planners frustrate me? Because they only really get it half right. Now, sure, they're really good and fancy about helping you manage your time, which is really important, obviously. That's what a planner's for. But where they get it wrong is money, the second most valuable resource in our lives. Most planners don't include any financial planning. Things like, keeping track of paydays, bills, due dates, spending, yearly expenses, budgets, cash flow planning, debt elimination plans, and goal planning, right? None of that stuff. That's a real pain. And then what? Then you got to create your own in some silly binder, right? And who has time for all of that stuff? So instead, what happens? Nothing, right? A lot of people tend to ignore their finances even more, and things only get worse. Well, that all ends today because I am so excited to announce and release my brand new, totally awesome Debt Freedom Planner. This thing's awesome, by the way. Now, before you say, Brad, I've already got a planner. This is not an ordinary day planner. This is the Debt Freedom Planner, which is a companion tool that works with your day planner, and it's built to help you manage your money, pay off more debt, and melt away financial stress. And I believe this is the tool that a lot of people who want to take control of their finances have been waiting for. So head on over to therealdebtfreedad.com, click on the Debt Freedom Planner in the menu to get access to your planner today.
Hey, what's this I see? I thought this was a party! Let's
All right. That sound means it's time for the celebrations of the show. And as you guys just heard the Debt Freedom Planner commercial, we right now have the 2023 Totally Awesome Debt Freedom Planner available for ordering. And it'll be a limited time order opening, window opening to get that planner. We will have those available, estimated through mid to late December. But as soon as they're gone, they are gone. And we will be going back to the undated planners. We've had so many people use those over the years. Thousands of those have now been shipped out all across the United States and in Canada. And if you're interested in getting one of those tools, a lot of people love them, and it's dated. It's ready to go for next year. You can go to our website again, over to therealdebtfreedad.com, click on Debt Freedom Planner in the top menu, and you can order that 2023 planner today. So we're going to kick it off with Jillian Whitney. Jillian says, I finished my monthly budget, which is a huge win. Jillian, congratulations to you.
Chantal Pato, I didn't buy anything for my daughter's school fundraiser because I didn't need anything from what was being sold.
That is awesome, Chantel. And by the way, those are. I don't know. I guess I'm not guilty anymore. I just say no. I just say no. There's only been a couple of ones that I've done. I've done the art one. It was my son. I forget what he is. Maybe second or third grade, and he had this self-portrait of himself wearing headphones. It is awesome. And I have a coffee mug of it. That's probably one of the few things that I've done for fundraisers at school. They always seem to be last minute, and I don't know. They're just not very good, in my opinion. So, great win, Chantel.
Sarah Ann, I'm getting myself back on track. Budget for this paycheck is complete and started on the next one.
Awesome. Way to go, Sarah. Congratulations. And Barrett, payday was Wednesday, and even with all the graduation expenses, field trip costs, and the twins' birthday gifts, she says I paid cash for those and still able to put money into savings. And those are some fantastic wins. Congratulations to you.
Hillary Lalone, I have saved $40 for emergency fund so far. Not stayed off budget as of yet. Paid off one credit card's $60 balance.
That is awesome, Hillary. Congratulations.
Barbara Farrell, did my Where Are You At? What an eye-opener to see the exact amount I owe. I paid off the first of 5 credit cards, only $84, but still feels good. Starting to work on my first budget that will actually be on paper. I have flown by what's in my head for a while, but no more. My goal is to pay off $30,000 in debt in the next 24 months, learning to say no to wants already. I don't need it and I don't buy it.
Yeah, that is awesome, Barbara. Yeah, great wins and great job getting started. That's going to be the key. So huge congratulations to all of you guys. And huge congratulations again to all of you guys who are working so hard at reducing financial stress and getting out of debt. And as always, if you're just getting started with our podcast, or maybe you've been listening for some time and you're interested in how you can get started on the road to financial freedom, head over to our website at balancesense.com and sign up for our free Life Without Payments workshop, where I'm actually going to show you the first steps that have not only helped me, myself, my family, Ryan, Amber, and thousands of other people just like us and you kick financial stress and worry for good. We're going to show you how to do that right there in that workshop. And thanks for hanging out with us here today. We love your feedback, and it also helps us grow our podcast. So please leave us an honest review. We read every single one of those. And as you guys know, the Debt Free Dad podcast is here to help you live a happier and stress-free financial life. So if you know someone who could benefit from our show, please give us a share. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you on an upcoming episode. Take care.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us here today. We love your feedback, and it also helps us grow our YouTube show. So please give us a like or leave us some honest feedback on this video. And if you want the latest from the show, obviously be sure to hit that notification bell and subscribe to our channel. And for the latest resources, or if you want more information on how to kick debt and financial stress, please be sure to check out the links in this video or head over to therealdebtfreedad.com. We'll see you guys on an upcoming show. Take care.